About 5 years ago, I noticed that there were three major things that were happening in our lifetime that haven't happened before. And I learned through the surprises that many of the times that I was surprised is because things didn't happen in my lifetime.
This is Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater Associates and one of the most influential people in the world of finance. Dalio is a hugely successful investor, philanthropist, and business leader who is often credited with anticipating and even predicting the events of the current global economy. His theories have been adopted by governments, corporations, and investors worldwide. His insights have also been featured in leading publications such as The Wall Street Journal and The New York Times. As the world continues to shift rapidly in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, Dalio's thoughts on the new global order are increasingly relevant. His unique perspective offers an understanding of the forces at play and how they are affecting our lives. Dalio's remarkable insights provide an invaluable resource for anyone looking to navigate the changing economic landscape. Welcome to Savvy Finance. In this video, we will examine why Ray Dalio says the new global order is affecting our lives and how we can respond to the changes it brings. Please watch, like, and share this video. Also, drop your comments and thoughts below, and remember to subscribe to the channel for more related content similar to this. We begin with a short clip of Ray Dalio.
Those three basic things were the amount of printing of money and the creation of debt, and what that means for inflation and the value of money. The second was the amount of internal conflict. So we pay attention to these things. In other words, gaps in wealth and opportunity and values leading to populism. Populism are populace of people who will fight and win at all costs, and that causes a threat to democracy and a threat to solving some of these problems. And the third thing is international conflict. In other words, the rise and challenging of great powers. And so I studied the history of those over the last 500 years, and I watched those patterns. Basics, right? You can't spend more money than you earn without creating debt. So when the government does that, it has to create debt. It sells that to investors. So there's a supply-demand. If you don't pay a high enough interest rate, they don't want to hold it. And as a result, debt is buying power. When you put debt and money into the system, you hype it up. But debt also creates an obligation to pay back. And when there's too much debt, then there is how do you pay back? Do you give it in the same hard value, or do you print money? So throughout history, when this has occurred, you can go back to the Old Testament. You see the situation that we're in. That's fundamentally, you can only raise your living standards by being productive. Productivity, we're creating unsound finances because we print a lot more money. We want to spend more money than we have. It's like a human being, same for a government. The only difference between a government and a human being is they print money. So when you think about how much money do you have?
Dalio discussed three major things that are occurring in our lifetime and have never occurred before. These major things are the amount of money printed, which leads to the creation of debt, the amount of internal conflict, and lastly, an international conflict, which is the rise and challenge of great powers. To him, he believes all these events have changed our style of living and are affecting our daily lives. Listen to these carefully.
So now, productivity. If you invest in productivity, we were hearing this before. If you invest in education, and you create higher education, they're very clear indicators of what makes living standards rise. The foremost, is do you raise children, ideally in a family that has two parents who care about them, and that they go to school, a good school, and they get well educated, and they are civil, and they come out to a world of equal opportunity, and then maybe enough resources that when they have great ideas, it's financed, and you have peace. You have prosperity. Those are the only things you need. So investing in those things is the way of the future. We're involved in philanthropy, and we see that you can make such big differences economically. I worry about how we are with each other, most fundamentally, right? Problems always exist. But in this world in which there's great domestic conflict, and there's great international conflict, because of these differences, history has shown these patterns. It happens over and over again. Internationally, there are 5 types of war. There's a trade war, a technology war, a geopolitical influence war, a capital and economic war, and a military war.
We've got them all.
Well, yes, and the ways that they change. You could see before, when you use economic warfare and capital warfare, and it accelerates, such as you cut off countries from receiving needed things. When all that happens, and you see an increase in military spending, you're close to the point of another military war, and you have financial problems. So as I watch that, yeah, it comes down to how people are with each other and dealing with that. We have a situation in which who is chosen as leaders in democracy is a function of these groups of people who say, you must fight for me. So you get populists of both sides. So, and almost leaders cannot lead. They cannot do the strong changes.
The world is changing. We are living in a new global order, one that is interconnected and interdependent. This new order is affecting our lives in many ways, from how we communicate to how we do business, from how we travel to how we interact with each other. We have shifted from a world of borders and boundaries to one of fluidity, integration, and collaboration. This new order brings with it a range of opportunities and challenges, from new markets to new technologies, from new threats to new opportunities. Our lives are being transformed by this new global order, and it is up to us to take advantage of the opportunities and find solutions to the challenges. From how we consume goods and services, how we communicate with one another, it is clear that the way we live our lives is changing. We are now part of an interconnected world where cultures and societies are more open to one another than ever before. As we move into this new era of globalization, it is crucial to understand the implications of this new order in our lives. The changes that the new global order brings can be both positive and negative. On the positive side, we now have greater access to information and opportunities than ever before. On the negative side, the pace of change can be overwhelming, and we may feel like we are losing control of our lives. There are a few things we can do to make sure we're prepared for these changes. 1. Stay informed. Keep up to date with the latest news and developments so that you're aware of what's happening in the world. 2. Be flexible. Be prepared to change your plans and adapt to new circumstances. 3. Be proactive. Don't wait for things to happen. Take action and make things happen. 4. Be open-minded. Be willing to try new things and explore different cultures. 5. Be resilient. Despite the challenges, remember that you can overcome anything. By following these simple guidelines, we can ensure that we're ready for whatever the global order throws our way. Listen to these carefully.
Without somebody agreeing, we're arguing over everything. And so when we look at how is a possibility of lead, story about Mario Draghi and the existing primary system in the United States choosing candidates. So I don't think you're going to find, and history has shown, that it increases. They say you have to pick a side. Okay? And so you pick a side increasingly, whether it's domestically or internationally. You will be asked to pick a side and that conflict. That doesn't lend itself to compromise. It doesn't lend itself to thinking about the whole. So I'm concerned about that. If we can behave well with each other. We have in the world, in total, the highest income practically that we've ever had. We have the greatest life expectancy. Our circumstances have never been greater. It's an engineering exercise. If you have people who are good with each other and can think of the whole, and how do you engineer for the whole, the capacity of that to exists. We have a problem, though, because we have these conflicts.
With a career spanning decades, Dalio has a unique perspective on the changing global order and how it will shape our lives. He believes that the world is going through a major shift, one in which global economic power is being redistributed and reshaped. He has a knack for predicting how this new order will influence our lives, from how we access information to how we interact. He has spoken about the increasing importance of technology, the implications of globalization, and the need to embrace a more flexible form of capitalism. By understanding the changing global order, we can better prepare for our own futures and the future of the world. What do you think about Ray Dalio's comments so far on the new global order? Feel free to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Kindly share this video with your family and friends, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more updates like this. Anticipate our next video update. Thanks for watching.